Hello everybody, welcome. My name's Richard and it's time for our end of April roundup. So as usual, quick bit about market summary, and it's also been a landmark event for our solar, hence the sunglasses are on my head, the sun is out and the solar has been amazing. So we'll get onto that and show you some really good data from that. First, market conditions I'll cover briefly, and we've been really busy actually. In fact, we've got a half-empty warehouse out here. We have seen that pick up in demand. Remember before I was saying that actually I think we've kind of stabilised. Well, we've seen that Model S and X sales are still kind of steady. The Taycans have come down in value, but Model 3, Model Ys have been actually popular and selling. And we've been gathering data, as we normally do, actually looking at stock numbers, for example, on Auto Trade, and they have been falling down, especially for the Model 3. You can see the stock levels have been falling, and demand seems to be very good. So again, all that negative press about anti-EV stuff, as before, demand is up. Stock levels are now starting to fall, so we're seeing prices stabilise across a lot of the markets. So that's good news. We're busy. So if you've got a Model 3 or Model Y to sell, let us know. Right, onto the solar. So let me show you some of the data from the Tesla app. So let me put on my screen recording here, and we'll share this to the screen. Should be coming up about now. So today's a pretty sunny day and it's flying. You see it's just gone not even 2:30 in the afternoon yet. We've produced over 100 kilowatt hours of energy just today. But this is about the month. So I'm going to go through to firstly the impact, and I'll look at that monthly. And let's scroll across to April. And you can see here, we were 96% self-powered. And I think that's remarkable. We saved over £2,500 worth of electricity we would have imported. And in fact, as you'll see in a minute, we even exported a little bit, so I'll get some credits for that. However, I get 16 pence per kilowatt hour for everything I export, but I have to pay 90 pence per kilowatt hour for everything I import. Very expensive. This is why this is so good and is proven a big saving. People talk about how long it takes to pay back. Well, I don't look at it quite like that. So before I go into more details, I mean, when I bought the system, it's £46,000. A system today roughly might be a little bit more than that, but that was an investment that added value to this building straight away. So I think from day one, it's been a saving, but it's just the right thing to do. And I really want to encourage other businesses to get on board. You might be kind of missed the start of this bandwagon, but get on it as soon as possible, because look at these savings here. Remember, this is a company where we've got offices, staff, we've got electric cars that we're charging day in, day out, so fairly energy intensive. Right, let's have a look here at, however, this page here, and I'll go through some of these pages here. So let's look at this by month. So let's look at April. Now, we used 2,702, for around it, kilowatt hours worth of electricity last month. So we can see here, actually, if I look at the grid uses, I'll switch to this screen here. These numbers are actually distorted by that very first day in the month. We had to import quite a lot of electricity, and the actual 1st of April has distorted it, because look after the 1st, we barely imported anything. And in fact, we exported more than we imported. And you can see here, the net grid use was just 9.6 kilowatt hours. In total, in April, we only imported 75, but because we exported 34, net use was only 9.4 kilowatt hours. So now if you imagine we also had some grid level energy storage, we would have barely touched anything, have we? So I think it's just remarkable. And this is April. We've still got May, June, and days get longer from here on in. And already now I've got several cars charging, and it's just been great. Like I say, 2:30 in the afternoon, we've already generated over 100 kilowatt hours of energy. So as we look at it here, and let's look at our actual solar production. On this screen here, you will see that the most we produced in one day in April was 152.4 kilowatt hours. And I don't think we even had one perfect day of full sunshine. We got pretty close a couple of times, but not even one perfect day. But to produce over 150 kilowatt hours in a day is just remarkable, I think. The average was 92.8 kilowatt hours, so that's enough on average to charge even the big battery EV stuff completely empty to completely full. And the lowest amount we generated one day was 24.5 kilowatt hours. So remember, this system we've got is quite large. Of course, it's commercial. We've got some on the warehouse and on the office roof here, east, south, and west facing selection, so we get good spread in the day. So we've got 62 panels in total, 450 watts each, 25 kilowatt inverter, and we've got 2 Tesla Powerwalls, so we can store 28 kilowatt hours of energy, and those Powerwalls have been fantastic. It just allows that flexibility on the incoming and outgoing. And so you can see here what's been coming in and out of those Powerwalls, and that's quite interesting to see there, I think. And I'm going to explain to you how we sort of use some of this now. Now, one of the beauties with the Tesla app and how this all works here is that we can actually control what's charging and not charging. So just about everything in stock here, we've got control on the app. So for example, on a Sunday when the offices are closed, there's no staff in, we can actually just leave a selection of cars left plugged in. And once the sun comes up in the morning and we're producing some good energy, I'll just remotely turn some cars on charging. Now, I'm sure there's some solutions out there where they can automatically start charging, and there will be a Tesla update to enable that in their systems, but it's fine for me to go on, turn a couple of cars on charging, just monitor the app a couple of times in a day. If the cloud comes over and it starts raining in the afternoon, just lower the current on a couple of cars or stop them from charging. And what we've been able to do there is really maximize the solar use. So although we're generating a lot, we can really fill up all these electric cars. And actually during April, we've got to a point now where most stock is now sat there kind of 80% charged, ready to go, and then we just top up the new ones when they come in, whereas at the beginning of April we kind of had that bit of catching up to do. So it's just fantastic, and I'm so pleased with the system. And you can see if you're saving £2,500 a month, if you look at it just as a recovery of cost, it will make its money back really quite quickly. But just to know you're driving on actual green energy we've just produced off our roof, I think is just brilliant. So it's exactly what I wanted, and so I'm really pleased. So there's quite a lot of data here, but I think I've shown you the most pages here from the app. You can see there power just charging now, and then there you got your grid use. And I just wish that first day of the month we didn't use that energy, because we'd have been over 96% off grid then basically. So to get to that stage in a business like this, really, really pleasing, and hopefully this is kind of motivation for more companies to make that investment. And again, it should just be a standard. Imagine the roof of a supermarket having solar, how much they could be self-sufficient. I know it's happening more and more, but whether you're a small business or a large business, it should be a primary focus. And it's actually one reason we won our Extra Mile Award from Motonova Finance as a Sustainability Award winner there. So I think that's well deserved, don't you? So just really good to get to the stage, and I can't say enough about how pleased we are with the solar system, and we can just make it work for us as efficiently as possible as well. So one thing we do upstairs in the office, we've got a larger screen actually using an iPad, which is constantly showing our energy production and flow in and out of the batteries and where that's at. So if I come out here, we've got a display like this, and we can see here right now as I talk, we're producing 17.9 kilowatts, but using 17, so fairly balanced with just a little bit of overflow going into the batteries. And now we're finding those longer days, what we get to is kind of by the time we're all packing up and going home, that we're getting the batteries a bit lower, and then the sun from the evening will then recharge the batteries. So again, same thing for first thing in the morning. The limitation we've found so far is that with the 2 Powerwalls, they can only take in or discharge 10 kilowatts at a time. So when we've got the days where we've got sun, then cloud, then sun, then cloud, we've learned that because we can produce up to 25 when the sun's out, but then it dips right down as the sun goes in, if we keep the usage at about 12, 13 kilowatts, that means when the sun's out, we can be taking the 12 kilowatts and the other 10 goes into the batteries, but if the cloud comes over, that we can discharge 10 from the batteries. There's still a 2 or 3, 4, 5 kilowatts coming off the sun, and therefore it can, again, manage that use without taking 2 from the grid. So we're just learning how to use it and manage it, and you can see here it's very easy to do, and we're kind of neutral with our production right now as I speak. So yeah, really pleased with this, and hopefully we see more people doing this soon. So that's it from this episode. I just wanted to kind of really go on about how good the solar is really. But we are also seeing those market conditions stabilising, demand picking up for most EVs out there. So I think it's probably one of those times when it's a good time to buy. I think actually stability, prices might even go up on some models, certainly stabilised out, so that's good. And if you've got a Model 3 or Model Y to sell, we've got buyers waiting, so make sure you hook us up, let us know if that's the case. So thanks for watching, we'll see you in the next video very soon, and make sure to subscribe with the bell icon ticked.